Welcome, so 600 and am I disconnecting? What's going on?
No, you're back. You're good.
Mike,
You're good.
is
You
there?
glitched a little bit there,
We
but we're
good?
good.
Good
We're
morning.
good.
Yeah. Welcome back. What? 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 What'd you say,
I said we're good,
Mike?
baby.
All right, we still good?
We still good.
All right. It's hard to tell on this end. It keeps freezing up and then keeps going back, so I don't know. What a Monday! What a way to start off Monday.
I know, right?
Yeah. I'm in a fantastic mood. I just want to throw that out there to start the show off. Apparently on Friday night there was a little bit of an issue. If you turned into the two cranky Yankers on Friday night, I do apologize. The guys did have technical issues. They were set up. They were at the studio. Um, and apparently whenever they went to do, they tried to make one little change and put both microphones out of one computer or something. And then there was an issue, and then Finch's computer basically just melted down. I don't know what in the world happened. I don't even know if there's a resolve yet. I know that he was working on it,
Yeah,
but
he said he got it resolved, so he has that going. But yeah, nothing like computer issues on the two
yeah.
Dum Yinzers.
Oh, there you go. If you tuned in on Friday, that is what happened. They did try. They did give an effort. However, Finch is still to this very point working on his computer. I think in one of the messages in the group text that I seen this morning, he's still working on it, but he's trying everything that he can to get their show back up and running by Friday night, and so you can enjoy that. So I just want to throw that out there. They didn't leave anybody hanging. They really tried. They were in studio. They were working on it for hours, actually, and that is what happened with the two cranky Yankers on Friday night. Good morning to Jen on the board. Good
Morning,
morning to Mark
Jen.
Malone on the board. Good morning to Derpy. Derpy went to Derpy went to the celebration parade. And to be honest, until you beat Michigan, I don't think you really have to have the right to celebrate. I'm going to be honest. They lost to Michigan 4 years in a row. They lost to a bad Michigan team last year, but this team goes on to win the national championship. I say they shouldn't be allowed to celebrate until they beat Michigan, but they're going to celebrate anyway. Derpy went down over the weekend. Sounds like a terrible time. Want to say good morning to Phil Steele as well on the board.
Like Derby went
Yeah.
down there, and the first message I hear back from him is like, "The day is ruined. Penn State took our defensive coordinator."
He's such a what a guru. Hey, who even cares about this stuff?
he was so happy to go, and then that happened, and it like ruined his day of celebration.
Mm. I mean, you guys with this, who cares who plays where? Come on, it's college. Who gives a shit?
Ryan's in a great mood today.
I'm in a foul mood. You know what? It took everything I had to even want to do a show today. I'm glitchy. I see my head glitching. I don't know what the hell's going. All right. Well, I can tell you, Mike, this is beyond the. All right, I gotta say, the last time. See what's going on? Am I glitching?
Yeah, you're glitching now,
Mike.
Yeah, you're glitching.
Now, what's going on? Why is it doing this?
I don't know.
I see that. Why? What's going on? I have nothing running off that modem up on this level. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense.
Does not. There you go. You're back.
All right, Derpy. I'm done with him. Get him off the board. Get him off the board before I freak out. Get him away from me. Honest. The last time that I was not at all excited about a Super Bowl was 2012, the 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. But this one is that line. I don't care. I don't care. And I keep glitching. Like, I'm going to freak out. What's going on?
I do not know. I don't know what the problem is.
Is it good? Glitching bad?
Every once in a while, yeah. Every once in a while, you're looking like max headroom.
And there was an earthquake up in the Northeast today. Maybe it was the earthquake. But
Maybe it's the
anyway,
earthquake.
the Super Bowl 59. Nobody gives a shit. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know if I'm going to talk about it for the next 2 weeks. Maybe minimally. Good morning, Mark. Mark says acid flashbacks and or max headroom. I agree. Derpy's still writing
Combination
to me.
of both.
Who was it last week? I was whooshing away with the sound of the air. I'm gonna whoosh Derpy away. Derpy. All right, there we go. I shouldn't see Derpy anymore.
You shouldn't see Derpy anymore.
I shouldn't see Derpy anymore. Yeah. So playoffs yesterday, guys. We had the AFC and the NFC championship games. Of course, the NFC, they did go first in the day. Philadelphia wins a nail biter 55-23. And surprise, 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 the Kansas City Chiefs, after 7 straight appearances to the AFC championship game, are going back to the Super Bowl. Now let's put this into perspective, guys. 7 AFC championship games in the last 7 years. Check this out. The Penguins haven't won a playoff series in the last 7 years. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game in the last 8 years. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, it's been 12 years since they've won in a postseason game. Guys, is this time to clean house, not only for the Steelers, but for the Steelers, the Penguins, and the Pirates? Guys, you can't continue to have these terrible teams in a sports town. It's embarrassing.
No,
you can't continue to put this product out.
No, you can't. And I've been on the get rid of Mike Sullivan bandwagon for as long as people have been on the get rid of the Mike Tomlin bandwagon. Like, they both had generational talent. They both, people want to argue Tomlin fell into a perfect situation. Mike Sullivan fell into the perfect situation. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Marc-Andre Fleury, Chris Letang, and an ownership and a GM that was willing to do anything and everything to win a championship. Yeah, now it's time to start moving on from some of these people, and the 2 big franchises in town have to commit to a complete rebuild. And I don't think they have the stomach or the balls to do it. Both teams are trying to rebuild on the fly, and you cannot rebuild on the fly. You see what happens when you try to rebuild on the fly. Things go kaput. And that's what's going on right now with the Penguins. Things are just...
Well, I mean, you see teams are... I mean, you got teams like Washington that are building on the fly just fine. Yeah. Hold on, I'm going to come out and try to come back in and see if I have any difference here.
But yeah, I think Ryan's right. We have to rebuild. Both teams need to. And Washington was able to do it, but they were sucking for a long time. They had pieces in place. They were smart too. They traded away some good young players on that defense to acquire draft picks that allowed them to go out and build this team. And they were able to go that far, and they lucked into a generational talent at quarterback. And last time the Steelers did that, we had to lose, multiple seasons in a row to get that quarterback, to get Ben Roethlisberger. We had to have a bad year. And I remember at that time too, like, people wanted Cowher fired. He had back-to-back losing seasons. Then we had another losing season to get Big Ben. And remember, Bill Cowher did not want to draft Big Ben. He wanted to draft an offensive tackle. It was Dan Rooney and Kevin Colbert telling them, you have to get the quarterback. And the Steelers don't have that ownership group now. The owner who knows football, and that was Dan Rooney. Art Rooney's just like, Art the First. They're not football guys. They know how to run a business, but they're not football guys. And that's what the Steelers need. They need someone back in charge who knows football, and they don't have that. And the leadership group. And same thing kind of with the Penguins. They don't have people who know what they're doing in a leadership group ever since Lemieux and Burkle sold the team to the Fenway Sports Group. They're handcuffing the rebuild of this team. And you just got to can't be afraid to. They dispelled that myth. Oh yeah, of course they would. Those two are buddy buddy. Of course they're going to dispel that myth. You know, is it a myth, or it was reported at the time? It's been reported for years that this is the truth. Now, why is that a myth? And then everything that people are saying Tomlin has all this power, and it's never been reported that he has all this power. People just saying he has all this power, and that's the truth. It's one of them, Dave Rooney, one of them, even leading up to it, and he was the one talking about, oh, we need to get an offensive lineman. We need to get an offensive lineman. So
I unplugged. I have things unplugged here. I'm messing with things. You know what? I think it might be better, Mike. So let's give this a try. Thanks for holding up the load.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about this game a little, or these games yesterday. So going into the Super Bowl, which is 2 weeks from yesterday, we have the rematch.
Yes.
I guess that's something to look forward to. And then the Chiefs going for a three-peat. That's something that people have to look forward to going into this game. And again, as I mentioned before, everything started going screwy. It's been 7 years since the Penguins have won a playoff series, 8 years since the Steelers won a playoff game, and 12 years, a dozen years for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, Mike, it's time to clean house. These coaches, they got to go. Say what you want. This guy's a great coach. That guy's a nice guy. This guy's a good coach. It doesn't matter. The thing is, in sports, the purpose in sports is to win. And let's just say that they're going for a bare minimum. You just want to have a good team. You want to put asses in seats. You don't want to spend your money to bring players in, which is, we know, the case for the Pirates, and obviously a little bit in the way of the Steelers. We're learning. But at the end of the day, you got to put a good product in the field or it starts to suffer. And again, I have to say, missing the playoffs, not winning a playoff game in 8 years would certainly fall into that category. Again, with the Penguins going to miss the playoffs. I mean, they're in last place in the division. They're going to miss the playoffs for 3 straight years. They haven't won a playoff game in 7 years. I mean, this is Pirates territory. This isn't even, it's a long cry. Far cry since the day we used to call ourselves the City of Champions, and even back in 2009 when we won on the ice and the grass with the Stanley Cups and the Super Bowls. We are 15 years, I'm sorry, separated from those times, guys. It is time for change in Pittsburgh. It's time. You could argue this Mike Tomlin debate all you want, but you're going to be wrong. We haven't won a playoff game in 8 seasons. That is not good on anybody's standard. As a matter of fact, in bad cities that have bad teams, they fire their guys for not going to the playoffs for 4, 5, 6 years. Come on, guys, we're moving in on a decade. If we don't make the playoff, if we don't win a playoff game next year, which again, unless we make some pretty big jumps this offseason, are we going to beat the Buffalo Bills next year? Are we going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs next year? Are we going to be so much far along and improved next year that we're going to be able to hang with these teams and stay within 3 points of each other, the way that the Ravens and the Bills were, the way that the way that the Chiefs and the Bills were last night, the way that these games went the past couple of weeks? It's not going to happen. The only way we stay within a couple points of the Ravens, which that doesn't even seem to be the case anymore, was because we know this team. We're from the same division, but they gave us a little taste of what the Eagles gave the Commanders yesterday in the playoffs to separate themselves. Guys, things need to change. Again, as I'm looking at these numbers, 7 years since the Penguins won a playoff round, 8 years since the Steelers won a playoff game, and finally 12 since the Pirates. Guys, something has got to give. This isn't even about not being the City of Champions. Guys, this is the city of not even being able to win a playoff round. The Washington Redskins, they just won 3 with a rookie. Come on, it's for one. Okay, say they have a great situation set up for Jaden Daniels. They were still a bad team last year, still the bad team the year before. There's just no excuse, Mike. There's no excuse for ownership in the leaders and the bosses and the high ups and the stiffs and the ties to even let this continue to go on the way that it is in Pittsburgh. Again, guys, unbelievable. 7 years since I just want to say it again, just to let people understand what that. 7 years since the Penguins won a round in the playoffs. Steelers, 8 years since they won a playoff game. And again, the Pirates, a dozen years. Who's even counting with these guys? But come on, it's bad. And again, we should be talking about other things. Let's talk about this Super Bowl matchup, of
Yes.
course, between the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles. Good morning to Grit on Gridiron. Grit says Eagles friggin' dominated. Mark Malone says I was lamenting the hiring process of Tomlin since his first press conference. I could see the shit show that was coming once Cowher's team dissipated. I mean, whatever it is, if it's we could have, and again, listen, we could have the argument and the debate, and I'm sure we will, the Tomlin and Cowher debate. But the fact of the matter is, moving forward, come on, we can't. This is the longest the Steelers ever went in Super Bowl history, and since in the Super Bowl era, they've never went this long without winning a playoff game. That speaks volumes, amongst others. Okay, again, back to the Super Bowl, guys. If you want to go to this nightmare of a Super Bowl, people are saying, who do you root for? For one, I'm not going to root for anybody. You have the scumbags of Philadelphia versus the Kansas City Chiefs, which, come on, this is the best team ever is what they're telling us. If this team wins 3 Super Bowls in a row, they are going to be the best team ever. Now, let me tell you something about that. The best team ever just scored over 30 points for the first time in a season last year. And prior to that, the best team ever, they scored no more than 31 points all the way back, not only to last year, but all the way back to week 4. Week 4 of last season was the last time the Chiefs scored over 31 points. They scored 41 against the Bears. Ever since, they're the best team ever, apparently, because they're going to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. That's what they're telling me. They went 2 seasons, damn near. Take 3 games out. 2 seasons, and they didn't score more than 31 points till last night when they scored their 32nd point with 3:33 left in the game before they went to the Super Bowl. This is the best team ever. He's getting them a lot faster than Tom Brady did.
Yes, he is.
Tom Brady took 2 decades to get where he got. Mahomes is about to have his 4th Super Bowl win, 3 in a row if he wins.
Yep.
And I just can't pull myself to root for the scumbags on the other side. I just can't. What a and I got to be honest with you. I'm not the only person. Nobody likes this Super Bowl. And this isn't even Steeler fans. Well,
I'm loving this.
Why you fall in this category of this new growing population of people? You think you're the only one, but there's so many people right now that are loving this Super Bowl because of the chaos it's bringing. I seen some dude, he literally says, I love the chaos. Let's go Chiefs and Eagles. And all right, whatever, do your trolling. But hey, at the end of the day, I mean, do you really root for anybody at this Super Bowl? Most people, and again, not even Steeler fans, I'm talking about the country, people all around the country. I hope the ratings suck. Game people use this to party and get together. And even if you do see a little drop in adder, but there ain't gonna be no rooting in this game. I don't care for either one of these teams. So like I said, to the extent of the 2012, where it was the Ravens and the 49ers, if both of these teams would whatever. If you're going to go to the game, it's going to cost you $4,706. That is the lowest, the cheapest ticket, guys, to get you into the stadium for Super Bowl 59. So if you're thinking about going down, go ahead and, sell your internal organs, because it's going to cost you almost $5,000 for the cheapest seats in the lamest Super Bowl. The Chiefs are 1.5-point favorites in this game. I don't know how they haven't scored over 31 all year, and the Eagles just scored 55, but yet these Kansas City Chiefs still remain to be just a simple, piddly 1.5-point favorite. How they figure this out and how it's going to work out to where that ends up being the difference for the bettors, I don't know, but they do it anyway. So there you go, guys. $5,000 a ticket if you want to go down to the game. Who do you want, Steeler fans? And I'm not talking to you, Mike, because you're going to take the bad cop role, but I want to know what people think. Pickett or Mahomes? And to Steeler fans, a lot of people don't want to see Kenny Pickett be a Super Bowl champion. But on the other hand, they don't want this team to only be one Super Bowl behind us, hitting their stride. They could win the team's 5th Super Bowl in less than 2 weeks and will only be one Super Bowl behind the Steelers and the Patriots. And as I said, they're quite early on their track compared to what Tom Brady did. He did win the first, 3 or 4, but then after that, it slowed down for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it literally, what's her face? Bitch hips, Prego ass, Patrick Mahomes, he's doing it really fast and really quick and really early in his career. So again, I don't care about the Chiefs, and I don't care how much they win. If they win all the time, it's fine. But just, how's it going to affect your team? A team that hasn't won a playoff game in 8 years, mind you. This dude has won he's been to the AFC Championship every single one of them years. So much for our team defending itself. So much for our team defending its ranks. I don't know. We got a bunch of messages coming up on the board, Mike. Then we'll get back in this. I don't want to leave anybody out on it. I'm gonna start right here. All right. Phyllis still says, I surely never asked for Cowher's head as much as I've been saying Tomlin needs to go since 2016. I would agree. There was a certain fire. Even when we weren't winning with Cowher, you tended to believe that he was trying. And
I don't know. I remember after that second losing season, he had back-to-back. Everywhere, every newspaper I read in Pittsburgh was demanding this guy to be fired.
See, I don't remember that. I remember it differently. I remember us finishing up at Three River Stadium that year. Us having a competitive year, not being that great of a year, but we did beat the Ravens once, and the 2 times we played them the year that they won a Super Bowl in 2000. Then we drafted our quarterback, Ben, and then we went to the Super Bowl. So I don't remember it that way. I remember it gradually getting better, but anyway, people remember things the way they remember them. That's all right. Let's see what else. Jen, she says, I'm so sick and tired of Tom Brady's voice. He needs to go through puberty already before announcing another game.
Chunks.
I hate when he says chunks. Does he still say chunks? I don't even listen to him anymore.
I don't know. Chunks.
I put weird Asian music on in the background whenever he's announcing games. Let's see. Phyllis still says, you can tell when it's the coaching and it's the Steeler locker room needs to go. Let go of the buddy coaching system. I agree. You can't continuously do that for 20 years. You got to at some point be a boss. The cheat Pete is coming. What's up, Brandon, on the board?
I got a question about that comment. If they are cheating, if it is rigged, why haven't you taken out every single loan that you can, sold your car, mortgage your house, sell everything you can? And why didn't you bet all that money in the first 2 rounds that the Chiefs played on, and then go ahead and bet all that money on the Super Bowl? If you think it is rigged, why are you not doing that?
Maybe he's not a gambler.
But if you think, even if you're not a gambler and you know it's rigged in your mind that, oh, this is what's going to happen, why aren't you putting money on it every single round?
Because you answered the question first. You said, even if you're not a gambler. If you're not a gambler, you're not a gambler. But I understand what you're saying for the people.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there.
Maybe people are, Mike. Maybe people are making a lot of money. The same way they did during the New England decades. It's no different. People made a ton of money during the Tom Brady era because they just kept gambling on the Patriots. So I don't think
that's what I would be doing. I wouldn't be bitching. I'll be making a.
Why aren't you doing it?
Because I know it's not rigged.
You know it's not rigged. Interesting. P says, I'd rather spend that on a round trip business class from Japan. We'd like to see you here on the home front every once in a while, P. Mark Malin says, I'd laugh my balls off if Pickett came in and looked like Joe Montana. You know what? He's only one play away. It's one thing about the backup quarterback position. You're always just one play away. No two ways about that. Phil says 26 wins, Super Bowl MVP in 2024, ESPN's Player of the Year. Brandon also says Goodell took players aside and said, let Mahomes win or your career in football is over. P says teams started closing practices before the Patriots. Yeah, come on. There's no funny business.
Yeah, the Patriots had what? Had Spygate, Deflategate.
But I'm sure cheating didn't happen, Mike. P says because they won't cover the spread. And also Mark Malone says that isn't a bad idea, Mike. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
odds for the Super Bowl. So there you go, Mike.
Right now I saw
you
it. It
talked
was
to
like
Mark
what?
Malone.
Yeah, I don't think Mark and I would have to talk each other into putting some action on any of these games.
It's
But
a
yeah,
one and a
when I
half
when,
point favorite, Mike.
yeah, one
So
and a
is it
half.
worth it to spend your money in the
Oh,
game?
like I would like the if you
Because
just
they
go
don't
the
let
money line,
the
the
Chiefs
what
win
I've
them all. They get in there. They've lost the Super Bowl. So I mean, it isn't like they're going to let the Chiefs. I mean, the
yeah,
Chiefs are there,
yeah.
and
But if it's
again, this
rigged,
Chiefs.
if it's rigged.
But you don't know which way it's rigged at the end of the day because if you're the
But I thought it
rigger,
was rigged in the Chiefs player. I thought it was rigged in the Chiefs' favor.
well, you're taking one person's argument. I don't know which way it's rigged. All I'm saying is I've seen them lose also in the Super Bowl. And I've seen football my whole life, and I've never seen a team that couldn't score over 30 points and dominate in the Super Bowl the way that this team does. I don't even know if it's possible. But you know what? We have to continue to move on, Mike. This is let's see. Where am I? Where am I? We do
Oh,
have a
I have
lot
no
of Pitt
clue.
players. We do have a lot of Penn State players. I don't know who the Penn State
Mhm.
guys are. Guys, of course, Kenny is on Philadelphia. Monte Maddox is on Philadelphia. AJ Woods is on Philadelphia. I think there's like 3 Penn State guys as well. It's all Pennsylvania students in this Super Bowl for the Philadelphia team. So I don't know. I listen. This is going to be a boring 2 weeks. And I understand Mike's going to want to, he likes to play the troll role, and I get that. And it's going to be
I'm
fun
not
for him.
playing the
For most
troll. Well,
people
yeah.
across the land, this is just going to be a lame 2 weeks getting ready for the Super Bowl. And I don't, nobody's going to be excited about it. Who's excited about this? You excited? I don't know if I'm excited. Excited is not the word. I wish I was excited. It's Super Bowl. So you get to see 2 teams you don't want to see. One of them you don't want to win, but one wins, and then it goes into the off season. We don't have football for 6 months. So do what you want with that. Yeah. $4,700, Mike. You going to the game?
No, because I didn't mortgage my house to bet on Kansas City money line in this round, so I can't afford the tickets.
They
I
got
should
the
have taken my own. I should have taken my own advice.
the negative 135 money line
Yep.
for KC.
That's not bad. That's not bad odds. Really good odds.
And I don't even care. The thing is, if I even tried to sit down and think about that, I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, I just don't want to have anything to do with this. It's such a lame-o Super Bowl for me. Any Steel? No, there is no new Steeler trade news talk, anything like that going on yet. We'll certainly keep you update. Just a couple things. I know that Pittsburgh Steeler news here. This Missouri quarterback, Brady Cook, he's been getting plenty of interest from the Steelers. But again, this is the second quarterback in as many days on the show that I did bring up. Of course, it was that Milrow, or what his name is, from Alabama last week.
Jalen Milrow.
Today, it's Brady Cook. Plenty of interest. He already met with the Steelers twice during pre-draft process. So, is this Neil O'Donnell says, guess who I put my money on in the 95 Super Bowl? But interesting enough, we do have a Neil O'Donnell and a Mark Malone on the board today. Very, very well represented board. John says, I can get 10 hot yoga sessions with Peaches for 5. You damn right you can. 10.
10. Damn, man. Shit, that's damn, man.
I say multiply that by 10 more.
That's expensive right there.
A couple other things. QBs to start multiple Super Bowls before the age of 27, of course. Mahomes and Hurts falls in that category. Guys, there's only been 5 of them in the history of the game. Ooh. There's only been 5 quarterbacks to start with multiple Super Bowls before the age of 27. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and Russell Wilson.
Oh, wow. 2
Steeler quarterbacks, a former and a possible present, has been 2 of the 5 quarterbacks to play in multiple Super Bowls before the age of 27. Again, the other ones are Brady, Ben, Russell Wilson, Mahomes, and Hurts. Hurts, the only one that hasn't won one yet. We'll see if that changes in 13 days. But again, Super Bowl 59, 2 weeks from yesterday, 6:30 p.m. Some will start around 7.
Oh,
This is a
at
rematch.
the earliest.
Yeah, at the earliest. So there you go, guys. Again, the Philadelphia Eagles, 55-23. And a matter of fact, I think the only thing that was really interesting about this game to me was when the guy kept jumping over the center to stop
Oh, that
Hurts
shit was great. That
on the
shit
goal line.
was great.
He jumped over the center two or three times. And hey, Joe, how you doing, brother? Yinzer Joe on the board. And two or three times, and then the referees had to say, "Dude, we're gonna literally give him the touchdown if you do this again."
Like we can't keep doing Zeno's paradox. We can't keep going half the distance here. That was another great thing when the ref said that people online were going crazy. Oh, they're just awarding touchdowns out of thin air. I'm like, do you people listen to what they're telling you on the TV?
Another thing is, I'll get into that here in a second with the Chiefs, the Chiefs
Yeah.
game. Let's go through these numbers, Mike, of the Commanders and the Eagles. There's a couple interesting things in here I'm going to point out to you. And again, again, how much ever you believe in coincidences, I believe in coincidences, just not all jam-packed together. But anyway, we'll talk more about that here in a little bit when I get to that point. Let's go over these numbers, Mike, for the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles in their game yesterday, the first game of the championship Sunday. The Eagles outgained the Commanders 459-350. The Washington Commanders actually outpassed the Eagles 251-230. The Eagles outran the Commanders, no surprise there, 229-99. First downs, 28-22 in favor of Philadelphia. Total plays, Washington had 77, the Eagles had 66. Here's the big difference, guys. Well, let me give you this number first. Time of possession, I'm sorry. The Eagles, 30 minutes and 31 seconds to the Commanders, 29 minutes and 29 seconds. That is split right down the middle. It doesn't get any more closer, yet the 4 turnovers are what allow the game to be 55-23. Again, first downs were close. Yardage was, come on, it wasn't that far off. Both teams got a lot of yards. The time of possession was 50-50 almost. One team managed to score 55 points, 4 turnovers to none. That'll do it every time. They talk about getting the winning the turnover battle, especially in the playoffs. It goes a long way. Individual numbers look like this. Jaden Daniels goes 29 for 45, 255, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Daniels also leads the Commanders in rushing yards. You know what? I don't think that's a recipe for success, which they do in Philadelphia. However, I don't think you want to get into this with a young quarterback. I think again, if you had a running back and he didn't lead the game in running, maybe you get different results. I don't know. But, guys, he had 6 carries for 48 yards, 1 touchdown. Ertz had 11 catches for 104 yards. Zach Ertz.
He had a good game against his former club, man. He was balling out.
And Chin led the tackling. Chin, as he did against the Steelers, Chin led the tackling for the Commanders as he had 5 tackles and 2 assisted tackles, a total of 7 tackles. He leads the way. The Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts goes 20 for 28. Pretty good, 246 yards and a touchdown. Barkley, 15 carries, 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. That really helps. A.J. Brown, 6 catches, 96 yards and a touchdown. And Bond, the guy that we talked about last week in the running against T.J. Watt, he leads the team, the Eagles, in tackles with 8 tackles and 4 assisted tackles. Still doing well, putting up good numbers in the playoffs, quite opposite from our contestant. He put up, the 0 stat line. So,
0 stat line.
So something to certainly keep in mind, guys. So that's the way that the Eagles and the Commanders went. Now, here's a couple of coincidences, Mike. I'm going to go over to the game stats for the other game. Check this out. Now, keep in mind the time of possession for the first game, 30 minutes, 31 seconds for who? For somebody.
Eagles. Yeah, Eagles had that.
And Washington had 29-29. Listen to the time of possession for the AFC game. The Bills, 30-32. In Kansas City, 29-28. 1 second difference.
Wow.
You play 2 totally different football games, 2 totally different teams, 2 totally different sides of the country. Not really, but you get the point. 1 second difference in the time of possession. Again, all right, this is a coincidence. All right, whatever. This could happen to anybody, anytime. But get this. The first downs, Mike, that were in the first game, Philadelphia 28, Washington 22. First down in the AFC game. Kansas City 28, Buffalo 22.
Yeah. Like Pete would say, I don't have the board up. Like he would say, numerology, man. It's in the numbers. This is weird.
So let's get into the AFC game. Because in my opinion, this is really the only one anybody cared about.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't because like you were waiting for your team to win or get to the Super Bowl. It's basically because you're watching because you want to see who you don't want to win, lose. But let's look at the numbers for this game, Mike. The Buffalo Bills, who finished their season 15-5, they had 374 total yards. The Kansas City Chiefs, who finished their season to this point 17-2, had 368 yards. Passing wise, the Chiefs win that by 6 yards, 233 to 227. Running, the Bills win that by 12 yards, 147 to 135. Again, first downs, 28 to 22, the same exact number as the other game. Total plays, 68 to 63 in favor of Buffalo. And time of possession, Mike, 30, 32 to 29, 28. Individual statistics, Josh Allen, 22 of 34, 237, and 2 touchdowns. Cook goes 13 carries for 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Shakir had, I don't know what he had. He led the way for their receivers. He had 6 catches. One actually guy had more, but he had less yards. So they had it in the stats that way. So that's the way I read it. And of course,
Matt Collis had 73 yards.
That's what I'm saying, but he had less catches.
Yeah. That's
so
right.
I'm going by the catches.
By the catches. My bad.
And also Bishop, the defender for the Buffalo Bills, he had 10 tackles, 9 tackles, 1 assisted tackle. And then the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes goes 18 for 26 for 245 yards. He passed, he didn't pass anybody. 1 touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 17 carries, 64 yards, and a touchdown. Worthy, 6 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown. And I believe their leading tackler had 9 tackles. But, guys, so it was a very, very even game. And no surprise it came down to a 32 to 29 point win. And again, the Chiefs had not scored more than 31 points since week 3 of last year. Not this year. last year. 38 straight games. The Kansas City Chiefs have not scored over 31 points. Last night they do it with 3:33 left in the AFC Championship game. They finally scored their 32nd point after 38 games, almost 2 seasons. Last time they did it was week 3 against the Bears last year with a 41-point game scored. Damn. But this is the best team ever, apparently. They have just now, for the first time in 2 seasons, went over 31 points, about to win their 3rd straight Super Bowl. Guys, we have plenty of time. We have weeks to bore ourselves with this game. So
hype ourselves up for this game.
Yeah, I mean, you and I you know how they show the map of fans of
who's rooting for who? Yeah,
it was all gray except for right on Kansas City and right on Philadelphia. Like nobody won, nobody cared, nobody's rooting for anybody. Everyone just kind of wants to see this one come and go. I like new teams. Who doesn't like new teams? But who cares? We'll have fun and watch the same 2 teams that did it before again and again.
But if it was your team, though, you would be pumped for it, man. You would be ecstatic that it was, the Steelers going back 3 out of 4. So it's just, it's a matter of perspective there. But I get it. I get, we had Patriots fatigue. We had Steeler fatigue. We had Cowboys fatigue. Same thing with the 49ers back in the 80s when they kept going and the early 90s. It's just, you just get tired of seeing the same 2 teams. But I'm at a point now when I watch sports, I'm watching for storylines. So, going for the 3-peat, as a sports fan, it's kind of cool to see, can they pull off the 3-peat, something that has never happened in the NFL. That's what I want to see. And then, you got guys on Philly that, I'm a Penn State fan, so I want to see Saquon Barkley win. I know there's some Steeler fans that, would like to see Kenny Pickett, get one as being the backup just because he won the pit. So there's storylines there. And, to see if Jalen Hurts can win a Super Bowl. And be the first quarterback since John Elway to win a Super Bowl after losing going to his first one and losing. That hasn't happened since Elway did it. So there's some storylines involved that people kind of want to see. I know people want to hate Casey. I want to hate them, but I don't find them hateable. They're just a good, well-run, disciplined team, and that's where I think a lot of the penalties when people want to talk about is I think Casey's just a disciplined team, and they keep it together, and the other teams don't.
Listen, I'm going to go back for 1 second. There's no Steeler fatigue. Everybody loves the Steelers. In Mexico, they love the Steelers. They love the Steelers in Los Angeles. They love the Steelers in Arizona. They love the Steelers in Tampa Bay. There's no Steeler fatigue. And even if there is, who cares? Because most people like and enjoy watching the Steelers go to the Super Bowl. It is what it is. I don't know if anybody could even challenge that. But guys, we do have what we have. It is again the Steelers and the Eagles. It's going to take me every time that I even think about it to sit here and think who's in it because I don't care. Ryan cracked the code to the script. That's right, baby. Let's see what else. I appreciate Mike's positivity. We want to hate Kansas City. Yinzer Joe says I like our other Pennsylvania team to beat KC. That's no, it's not the Steelers. It was one. It was once, but damn it, it's not anymore. There's scumbags over there.
They're Philadelphians, baby.
Didn't they boo Santa and they threw snowballs at Jesus and they hung these people they're the scum of the scum on the other side of the Commonwealth. If you ever met a Philadelphia person, get away from them. That's all I gotta say.
I'm just happy it's not the Flyers going for a Stanley Cup.
Well, it's gonna be.
That would
because
have to kill myself.
This is the juju you're bringing. Philadelphia is going to go to the playoffs this year because we're not.
Well, okay, look, Juju's in the Super Bowl. He's going for ring number 2. We should be rooting for Kansas City to get Juju his second Super Bowl. He would be able to show. He'd be able to go to AB. He'd be able to go to AB and Bell and be like, "Look, I got one each for you, boys." He'd be able to.
We got to go on social media and ask the fan Hitlers who we should root for. These people that tell you all season who the people all season long that tells you why you're not a fan because you root for this guy and why you're a bad Steeler fan because you think this. We have to turn to the rooting Hitlers, Mike.
Yes.
To find out who we have to root for. Otherwise, you're going to be a stupid fan who doesn't know anything and because you don't know how to be a fan. You're a terrible Steeler fan and everything like this. I hate that more than anything.
That's what you tell me every time we get together at the studio to watch the game. You call me a terrible Steeler fan.
Well, you are the worst Steeler fan.
But I admit it. I'm the biggest hypocrite.
But you're the only person.
My rooting interest with the Steelers.
You really are.
Yeah.
You're in a class of your own. I gotta be honest.
It. I admit my own hypocrisy when it comes to rooting the way I root for the Steelers to win and stuff.
I'm not admitting it or not. It's obvious.
But I'm able to recognize, look in the mirror and say,
Yinzer Joe says, if you ask me, the refs predetermined the games before they started. And I'm not going to say this hasn't happened. I'm going to say that I've seen many things over my life that I think that things may be a little bit off nowadays. But one of the things that I want to clear up yesterday on that Josh Allen play where he did get the first down, and I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to explain why it didn't go the way that we wanted it to. You've seen the guy's body go across the line. The guy's head, the guy's body, and the ball and the line went through his body and it went straight up his body. And it more than likely 99% would have been a first down. That ball did cross the plane, but they didn't have a camera view. That's the only thing that matters because they can't make the call unless it's you could specifically see on the camera. So that play where they didn't give Josh that ultimately was the play that ended the game for Buffalo. If I'm remembering right. And he was pushing across. He was trying to get a 4th and 1. He went over the line. His head went over the line. Unless he took the ball when it was out of your sight and moved it clear to the other side of his body, which he didn't do because you didn't see his arms move. That was a first. However, unless the camera has a perfect view and could tell that ball, So I've been seeing that one a lot today, Mike. The big referees caused the loss because of this play. I don't think so. I think that they got it right on the nose just because you have to go by the protocol. That's the way you have to check out an instant replay, and you have to be able to see a ball, and you have to be able to prove that that's what happened. And you couldn't prove. You couldn't prove, even though all logic tells you that ball at some point crossed the line just a hair. I'm not a gambling person, but I would bet money that this
but
ball
you
went
can't
across the
see
line.
it.
You got to
And
be able to see the
yeah,
ball in the replay. That's what happened, and I don't think there was any funny business. If they would have called it the other way, the referees get called out for that
yeah,
because
worse
again,
ball.
there's
Yeah.
no way to
And the
see.
one
Right.
line judge who was able to see the ball, he's the one who initially called it short. The one who couldn't see the ball is the one who said they got the first down. And they got together with their conference
Well,
like, "Oh no, I saw him down before."
it was the close guy that said they were short. He was the one that was
Yeah,
running
he
in
was the
from
one,
behind.
yeah, coming
With
down the
with
screen.
and the guy way at the top of the screen coming down, he was the one that was
Yeah,
looking
but
at
he
the
was the one.
ball,
I thought he was the
and
one.
he
I
was
got to go
on the
back and
first
look, and
down.
I might be remembering it
Yeah,
wrong.
go look at it because
This thing, if you watch a lot of hockey, like we used to do, like, oh, it's the puck over the line. It's over the line, but you can't see it because the goalie gloves there and stuff. That's where that falls into, and like
Yinzer Joe,
I was gonna say too, like the game reviews, and like in soccer, they have chips in the ball. They have chips in the goalpost. You can put a chip in the little pylon every time it moves to and tell you exactly
yeah,
where it is,
I don't
so
like
you'll
that
be able to
either.
know.
But anyway, that leaves behind the closed doors business, and I don't like that. Let's go to what Yinzer Joe says. He goes, millions of dollars spent on the NFL games, and they have limited camera view. That's like Pickens fighting the back of the end zone that never happened. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there should be a
Yeah.
million camera views. I mean, on my Madden football game, I could certainly get about a half dozen different camera views. Why can't the multi-billion-dollar industry of professional football pull this off? I don't know. Um, let's go to Mark Malone. Anyone remember the Hitler fan who drove his station wagon through TRS and was found kicking imaginary field goals on the field when the cops got there? I don't. I don't remember that.
It
Let's
was
see. He said it.
because of Mark Malone's passing. He was starting to laugh through the ball. Jesus Christ. Uh,
Let's see. Phyllis still says the ref coming down had the ball. You're right. The one coming
okay, yeah,
from
yeah.
the
Yeah,
top
I
of the
may have been
screen was
saying it
looking
wrong.
at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
front of his
We were on the
body.
right page, yeah.
But besides the point, if as long as the other guy makes the call, you have to go the way that he did. You have to go into replay. When you go into replay, you have to be able to see the ball. Why there was the camera view from the other side of the
Yeah.
field, I'll never know. I don't know. There should be. Why there wasn't, I don't know. But there you have it. Again,
Yeah.
59, Super Bowl
Yeah.
59, such an irrelevant number. It's not. It doesn't it doesn't symbolize anything. 60.
Mhm.
That's a monumental number. 65, 50.
The
59,
Jack
just
Ham
another
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl, guys. To me, 59 is the Chiefs and the Eagles. So there you go. Do what you want with that. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's see. Hey, here's something interesting. You guys want to hear an interesting Antonio Brown?
You had me at Antonio Brown.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had a little incident here for just a second, but let me catch up with this. I think this is extremely interesting, guys. This extremely interesting Antonio Brown statistic. Here we go. Before age 30, get this, guys. This is between Antonio Brown and Jerry Rice. Before age 30, Antonio Brown played 115 games. Jerry Rice played 114. Pretty even, right? Before age 30, in receptions, Antonio Brown had 733. Jerry Rice had 549. 549, almost 200 more receptions. Receiving yards before age 30, Antonio Brown had 9,910. 9910. Jerry Rice had 9349. So Antonio Brown led in all those. Get this, though. Touchdowns. Antonio Brown 59. Jerry Rice before the age of 30, 95 touchdowns. Wow, 95 touchdowns before age 30 compared to what Antonio Brown did. Just kind of goes to show you, if you don't remember how great Jerry Rice was. But all the other numbers, Mike, they're all comparable. I mean, he has Brown had more
Yeah.
receptions. I think maybe Joe Montana might have had more options than Ben,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, he has more receptions, more receiving yards. The only difference that Jerry Rice has in his favor again is the touchdowns. 95 touchdowns by age 30.
Yeah.
So to say Antonio Brown was one of the best when he was here is not a stretch. I mean,
No, he was on pace to, like, the conversation could have been, who do you got, AB or Jerry Rice? And it probably just would have come down to the amount of Super Bowls and touchdowns. But AB to me is the greatest route runner I've ever seen play football. I was able to watch Jerry Rice play and appreciate the way he played the game because he wasn't a speed guy. It was like his route running ability allowed him to get the separation, get a lot of those long touchdowns. But you just watch AB run routes and the way his body control on the sidelines, the shit that he did, he's it's not even an argument how great he is. He's easily top 5 wide receivers of all time. Just by watching him play.
You know what? I would take Jerry Rice 10 out of 10 times.
Oh, me too.
Because this guy is a head case. And if you want to win, you want somebody with kind of
someone who's going to be there game in, game out.
Decent head on your shoulders. Something I think no matter what you do in life, that's the guy that you want.
Yep.
But and I'm going back to Mark Malone's thing here. I was thinking about Three River Stadium the other day, man. What a place. And listen, all you guys on the board, I know some of you guys are from far. Some of you guys are from far and wide. How many of you guys actually been to Three Rivers? That is some of my favorite memories in my life is going to Three Rivers. Of course, as a kid with my dad to see baseball games and football games. And then again, as I got a little bit older, going with my friends and things like this. Guys, how many of you guys got to enjoy Three River Stadium and the rug, the big green rug when you walk in the building? Something I'll never forget. I can tell you that. What else we got here? Cowboys hiring Brian Schottenheimer as the new head coach. Mike, any surprise there? I didn't. I thought they would go. I thought they would go a little bit more high profile, just because that's what the Cowboys tend to do. They go Brian Schottenheimer. Mike, is this the right pick for the Cowboys?
I mean,
head coach.
He's going to be a Jerry Jones yes man, so it's the perfect hire for the Cowboys. It was so uninspired hiring. Like, he didn't even try and get any of the big names out there. It didn't even try and say, find coaches who had success, who were, sitting out there on the market that are available. It's just weird. It was a weird coaching search. It was quick, it done, but that's the way Jerry Jones runs his team. And he's the owner, the head coach, the GM, the offensive coordinator. Everything runs through Jerry Jones. So it does not surprise me that he went out and got this guy. And it's going to be a mess down there. And I'm here for it. I love it.
Also, the 49ers are hiring Robert Saleh as their defensive coordinator. He got canned by the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be down there, the defensive coordinator for San Francisco. Also, Mike, an interesting story is the guy that you were telling me about from the Houston Texans, their offensive coordinator. I think it's like Bobby Slovic or something.
Yep, Bobby Slovic.
And he was one of the hottest commodities last year. The Houston Texans, great offensive season last year. People saying this guy goes somewhere, be a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
He ends out not doing that, sticking with the Texans, having a less than subpar season. Mike, and what happened to Bobby Slovic?
They fired him.
Him.
He was the hot commodity. This was the guy that, he's going to go somewhere. Look what he did down in Houston. He's going to go be this great head coach. Comes back for another year and then is immediately fired after the season. That's, you got, these hot commodities. You gotta worry about them. But like part of his thing though, like the way he ran his offense, they used fullbacks, used some play action. What did the GM do? Got rid of the fullback and never replaced him. Gutted their interior offensive line. So I think he's going to find another team. He's going to land on his feet. And I wouldn't surprise me in 2 to 3 years, his name's back up into the coaching ranks to be talked about to being a head coach. But my God, he should have jumped at the chance to take a coaching job last year. Because I think he interviewed in Atlanta, maybe. I can't remember, but I know he had interviews, and he should have just taken it and ran. Get the money when you can, because you never know what's going to happen in the NFL.
You're right.
I say, they call it the not for long league for a reason.
Yeah, Mike. No two ways about it. It sucks for him because, again, he was at the point where he basically had a lot of things.
He blank check, man. He could have went anywhere and been a head coach, and you got to take it, man, when the opportunity presents itself. Just like anything in life.
Absolutely.
Because you never know what's going to happen.
Get it when the getting's good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Ginger Joe said the Steelers stadium was historical. I cried when they blew it up. I had to take a piece of the stadium home. Probably never see games like those again in my lifetime. I do. I have seats. I have 2 yellow seats from the Three River Stadium that I've been lugging around with me for the last 25 years of my life. They're about 600 pounds. These chairs, you can't put them anywhere. Not really much you could do with them.
He
But
won't. I keep telling Ryan we got to set it up in the studio so
well, we were
can
going
sit,
to,
so
but
we can sit right next to each other
well,
and
no,
watch the
we're not
game,
even
be
going
all
to sit
cuddled
next
up
to
on
each
each
other.
other.
So that's not going to happen. But we
No, it's
do.
not. I don't think we can. I don't think I can fit in those seats anymore.
But was great times. I got to tell you, I've seen a lot of great athletes at that stadium, especially as a child. Again, seeing some of the names that you're always going to talk about in at least a couple of the sports. Mike, let's go to a couple other things here real quick.
Yes.
The 11-year-old who finds the 1-of-1 special signed Paul Skeens baseball card turns down the Pirates. What a smart kid he is. Turns down the Pirates, rejects their offer. The Pittsburgh Pirates, this team that wants to give nobody nothing. They want to cut you when you're just about to make your bonus. I mean, this isn't speculation. This isn't me being angry about the team. This literally happened. Last year, our first baseman was five at bats from getting his bonus.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, couple games left, 5 at bats, and they canned his ass. They got rid of him. This is how slimy the Pittsburgh Pirate organization is. They try to get a hold of this 11-year-old kid who finds card 1-of-1 that's going to end up being millions watched. And they tried to give him seats behind home plate for 30 years in a Pirates game. The kid wisely rejects their offer. And you know what they said? Well, maybe now we'll just have him come down and meet Paul, and we'll give him some stuff when we see him, and blah 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 blah. That's what they were going to do when they give. That was part of the prize.
Yeah,
they were going to give him the seats behind home plate for 30 years. Which who wants that? I'm a Pirate fan. I don't even want.
I don't want that.
Who wants that burden? Try to get down to this anyway. And then you were going to meet Paul Skeens, and then they were going to give you his autograph. And now after he rejects them, they say they're still going to give him the autograph. They still get to meet Paul Skeens, but the card itself is going off to an auction, and he's going to get his due out of this. I hope this kid does well. He's going to maybe get generational wealth from this one particular card, because this may be, at the end of the day, the best pitcher that ever pitched in the majors. I mean, it's arguable at this point. I don't know many people that's done what he's done in that shorter period of time to start their career. But guys, the 11-year-old in California did reject the Pirates' offer. Good for him, because they tried to scam you just like they scam us every year here in Pittsburgh. And they wanted to give him nothing for this card that was worth a lot. That just shows you, screw them. Good for you, kid. Enjoy your life. Get lots of money, and that's what it's about. Could you imagine this kid in California, 10 years from now, telling his buddies when he's 21 years old, hey, I have season tickets at PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they live in California, where you have Ohtani and the LA Dodgers, and come on.
Yeah, and isn't he auctioning it off and donating it
to the auction?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yes. Me personally, I would have just hid that card away. I never would have told anyone. I'd been laughing my ass off while the search is going on. Let that card build value over Paul Skeens' career, and then finally come out with that bastard.
Anything, no matter what would have happened. Because here's the thing. Let's say you get your money for your card, and you want season tickets for the Pirates for the next 30 years. You then go get them. Don't take such a short deal. Like, come on. You would go get that anyway, even if you sold your card, made a whole bunch of money, made millions, whatever it's going to be. You could then simply go get your ticket behind the home. What a stupid, or I'm glad he did the right thing.
Yeah.
The Pirates tried to slime ball him the way they slime ball us, and the way they slime balled Rowdy Tellez, and the way they slime ball everybody. How gross. The Pirates. Good for that kid. Good for him. I hope he has a great life. Pitt Panthers back on the hardwood over the weekend. They beat Syracuse 77-73. They play again tomorrow. They'll be hosting the North Carolina Tar Heels when they come to Pittsburgh. That game is tomorrow at 9 p.m. Pittsburgh Penguins continue their slide. They lose 4-1 to the Kraken. The Penguins now are 20-23-8 in last place in the Metro. They go and play the Sharks tomorrow. Now, the Sharks only have 14 wins, but that don't mean anything. The Penguins just don't beat anybody. So they go out to San Jose on this road trip tomorrow, 10:30. Mike, they face the San Jose Sharks. Is there any reason that I or anybody else should even care at this point?
No, other than watch Sidney Crosby still be a top 10 player in the league. That's
Top 10
about it.
player or not, we can't get to the playoffs. I mean, who
Yeah.
cares? I mean,
Yeah, because everyone else around them sucks. But right now, like, we need San Jose to win because they have right now they're the worst team in the league. Penguins are sitting at 7th overall in the draft for the draft lottery. We need to keep losing to get that number 1 overall
and
pick.
the hockey draft isn't even the same, and nobody cares. And it takes a guy 40 years to get
Yeah,
into the
unless
pros.
they're like a generational talent, then you see them right away. But like, yeah, like you said, man, it's 2 to 3 years, sometimes 4 years for some of these guys to make it to the league.
Yeah. So there you have that. Penguins, they lose 4-1. They play tomorrow, 10:30 at San Jose. Pitt back at it tomorrow, 9 o'clock against North Carolina. The 11-year-old kid in California with a major victory this week. Congratulations to him. Chiefs and the Eagles, Super Bowl 59 rematch, because the last one was so fun. They played, and it was a penalty, a holding penalty on the defensive back at the end of the game. And some people said it was a penalty, and some people say it's getting boring. That's the thing; it's just boring. It's going to be. It's going to be the same. And the only reason it's not is because, again, it's because
I want to see
you
the
have
chaos.
a horse in the race, which is what you argued me last week. Is why you said you don't support teams sometime. But
I know, right? Like, I'm changing my mind all over the place.
You really are.
Yeah,
and the thing is, I mean,
I'm golden. I got someone or something to celebrate either way. But
well, nobody cares about that.
I do.
So why you just talk to yourself over there? Because nobody
I'll
else
talk to
listens.
myself over here.
Because here's the thing about Philadelphia.
In that little box.
And here's the thing about Philadelphia. Who cares? The only reason you like them is because there's a dude on your team from your college team. Again, who cares about this shit?
I do.
Again, nobody else does. So, you know. Let's see. Steeler Freak, send Peaches and Fanny to Ryan's. He needs. That's right. I need both of them right now.
That might be too much woman for you.
And also, let's see. Yinzer Joe says it's hard to talk about tanking in Pittsburgh sports. I, for one, want victories. You know what? I do too. Everybody always wants to win, but here's the fact of the matter: we haven't won a playoff game in 8 years. The Steelers, I'm talking about. So why not take one bad season to make things better? You're having as close to bad seasons as you could get. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, some may say 10-7, and 10-7 is good, and other people might say that if you're not winning a playoff game in almost a decade, doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. The coach is building his statistics, and he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. But that doesn't work for anybody else. It's okay for him. Yeah, fine. Good for you.
Tanking is a proud tradition here in Pittsburgh. We tanked for Lemieux. We tanked for Crosby. Yeah, we kind of tanked for Mean Joe Green. No, those teams just sucked. But no, sometimes you got to tank. You got to tank to make the team better.
Mike, why don't you tank and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. You know, it's over there. We got the merch store, got all of our links. And like I said, after the Super Bowl, the blog will be back. And you know what? The blog day after the Super Bowl is going to be a win-win for me because I'm going to be ecstatic.
If you're a gambler, put money on whether you're going to see the blog back up after the Super Bowl. This is where I'm willing to put my money. This is a short thing in my book.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
Yeah. So there you go.
I love when you're down in the dumps, and
I'm not down in the dumps.
I know you're just all fired up today.
I just feel about the Super Bowl the way that everybody feels about it, and it's not exciting. It's not tickling my bone is what I guess is the way I could put it.
Well, I'm not gonna. Well, we got Peaches and Fanny to tickle your bone.
And it's if there was anything about it that would be interesting, it would be like, okay, until people at the Pitt fans that are excited. Oh, Kenny, I don't care. I don't care if Kenny wins a Super Bowl outside of Pittsburgh. It's not my team. I don't care. It's lame. It's lame. Again, you might as well have who was the one that had 12 years ago, the Ravens and the 49ers. I didn't give two shits about that one. Maybe the lights will go out on this one as well. We'll see. If I could ever pull this up, Mike, we're going to get into the trivia of the day. It's going to be a Super Bowl trivia. Bowl trivia. So we'll see if that's the way the next couple of weeks goes here. As we prepare, Roger says, no, don't make the Steelers irrelevant like the Browns or Well, we already are kind of becoming that, Roger. 8 years since we won a playoff game. I'm not even talking about, I'm talking about first round shit here. You know how you get to the second round and you're kind of, you weed out the bad teams? We're the bad team that keeps getting weeded out. We're not even getting to the second round. We're losing the very first lowest minimal possible game that you could possibly play. This is what we're losing year in, year out. If we even make it, we missed. Come on. Something has got to give. Something has got to give. Let me look, Mike. I do believe I have a bunch of stuff here. So let me look at, I have easy Super Bowl questions, medium Super Bowl questions, or hard Super Bowl questions. Mike, where do you want to start with today? Do you want
Let's go with hard.
You want to go with the hard one today?
Yeah, let's go with hard.
All right, put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board. Play along, everybody at home. This is the hard Super Bowl question that Mike chose. All right, here we go. I'm just double checking, making sure there isn't any that. Okay. You might be able to get this.
Yeah.
Let me see.
You're trying to make it difficult for me.
All right. Well, yeah, of course. All right, here we go, guys. Question of the day. This is a Super Bowl question. Here we go. Which team completed the first 2-point conversion in a Super Bowl game?
Ooh.
Now remember, this is difficult. So I wouldn't be surprised if nobody knew this, but guys, it's a totally answerable question. I'm looking at the team. Which team completed the first 2-point conversion in a Super Bowl? This team, as a matter of fact, did it 2 times in that game. Again, I'm looking for the first team to convert a 2-point conversion in a Super Bowl, and this team did it 2 times, not just one. Think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. All right, guys, question of the day. Which team completed the first 2-point conversion in a Super Bowl game? The hint I'll give you is they did it twice in that one game. Mike, you have 32 teams to pick from.
Yeah.
Some of them hadn't even been to the Super Bowl, so your odds are even better.
Yeah.
Which team do you think converted two 2-point conversions in a Super Bowl, was the first team to ever do it? Ever.
I kind of want to lean towards New England just because everything they've been to so many, but I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos, interesting choice. Is that your final answer?
Yeah, final answer. Even though the Giants are popping into my head, but I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos.
All right. Question of the day. I'll give a few extra seconds. Anybody on the board wants to take a shot at this as well? Which team completed the first 2-point conversion in a Super Bowl? The hint is they did it 2 times in that same game. Let's see what Yinzer Joe says. So 18 winning seasons is mediocre. That even means that the teams that had a better record were mediocre too. No, the teams that actually do anything in the playoffs, I'd say, are better. It's always Super Bowl or bust, even with the winning record. That's standard. Well, and again, it's not Super Bowl or bust. Well, I'll take a win. We haven't even smelled a win. We haven't even – listen to this. Let me ask you. I don't have them in front of me, but we get blown out in the first quarter of every single playoff game we played. One game we were down 28-0 to the Browns in the first quarter. Last time we were down 20-0. This year we were down something – we can't get past the first quarter because we're already down so big and we get annihilated. Listen, if we were even smelling a playoff win, that would be different. We don't even smell. We're not even in smelling distance of a playoff win. That's the problem. If we would win one, maybe lose a couple years, go to one and lose in a heartbreaker. Guys, we can't even get past the first quarter without getting blown out by a team in the playoffs. So, I mean, yes and no, Joe, what you're saying, again, if you really want to take it to that extreme, I don't agree. But again, if you put it in context and you look at it that way and you look at what it is that's happening when we put ourselves in that opportunity to win, That's not mediocre. What you're seeing in the playoffs is not a mediocre team. That's a bad team. Because even mediocre teams will win a playoff game every now and then. Or even if you're better than mediocre, you shouldn't be getting annihilated every single game for years. I mean, this has gone on for almost a decade with this getting – none of these games were close. If you look at the last 8 years or whatever it was, they're all blowouts. They're all blowouts. We're not even in the game, guys. The closest one was the 35-21 to Baltimore back in 2012. That was the closest playoff game we've been in. Anyway, so again, I agree and I disagree, but I think if you put it into context, Joe, I think I make sense. So I don't know. Phil is still saying coaching. Joe says the Browns, Tupa did it first, but they weren't in a Super Bowl. Of course not. Mike, let's come back to you. Let's come back.
Yes.
I get the answer in here. So you chose Denver?
Yeah,
all
Denver.
Right. Denver's Mike's pick. Question of the day. Which team completed the first 2-point conversion in a Super Bowl game? The hint is they did it 2 times in that particular game. Mike says Denver. It's not a bad pick. He also said New England, which is not a bad pick either. Guys, the team that scored the first 2-point conversion in a Super Bowl is, of course, Super Bowl 29. The San Diego Chargers did it against the San Francisco 49ers in the game.
Wow.
If we would have just gained 3 more yards, that would have been us getting annihilated by the 49ers. But the Chargers, in fact, scored not only the first 2-point conversion in the Super Bowl, they did it 2 times, and haven't been back since, guys. That is the Chargers. The San Diego Chargers was the correct answer for that. So, we will continue with Super Bowl questions moving all the way forward. There's going to be Steeler ones mixed in there. There's going to be all kind of interesting Super Bowl questions and things like that moving forward over these next 9 days of show. We do have Super Bowl 59, Mike, 13 days away. Super Bowl 59, 13 days away. 14 days from now, Mike, we're going to be in the off season, getting ready for the combine, the draft, the free agency, the signings, everything like that. See what we can do to make this team better and give ourselves a better chance to maybe stay in the game in January next year. I don't know. I don't know what I have some theories of what the answer could be, but again, I think that we pretty much touch them regularly all year around. I'm with YJ and my Yinzer Joe. In my opinion, there are 31 losing teams every year. That's true. That makes the Steelers the most successful team ever because they had not had been the losing team one less time than anybody else, of course, tied with the Patriots. So, if you look at it that way, but nobody looks at it that way, Roger. And we do because we're Steeler fans and you tend to, we can manipulate those kind of things. But in the other way, nobody else looks at us the same way. Steelers just look like a team that can't win a playoff game or can't even stay in a playoff game. So they got to do something, guys. Mike, anything we do start getting ready to wrap things up for the show for today?
Yeah, I just not the ideal Super Bowl matchup, but as a football fan, the Super Bowl is around the corner. I can't wait. To see it. Is history going to be made or is history not going to be made? This is why I watch sports to see if a record is going to be broken, to see if something that hasn't happened before is going to happen. So I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl to see if they can get the 3-peat, do something no team has ever done before.
See, that does nothing for me at all. It really does nothing for me at all. I wish it did. Don't get me wrong. I wish it did. My thing is this. If you're in Western Pennsylvania and you're planning on going to your favorite Mexican restaurant, maybe call before you go. All of these Mexican restaurants in the North Hills, 2 in Cranberry, 1 in Wexford for sure, that I know from the story itself, says that all these Mexican restaurants, all their heating went bad at the same exact time over the weekend, and then they all closed down. They're all a pretty good distance from one another, but yet either they all forgot to pay their heating bill or maybe ICE had stepped in and did whatever they are doing. But I just wanted to say, if you're going to eat Mexican anytime soon here in this area, and I'm sure this is everywhere, make sure you call first. Because I know that the Mexican restaurants, Mike, are shutting down at record paces around here. So
that sucks. I love me some good Mexican food.
Yeah.
I want a big-ass burrito so bad right now, too.
Jen, that's such a good point. She can't wait for the Super Bowl food or the commercials are fun, I guess. Again, we listen.
Look, you almost left with the smile, Ryan. You almost left with the
I didn't
smile.
smile. What? I haven't smiled in years. What are you talking about?
You said you're like, oh, the food. Oh, the commercials are fun. I saw a smile. I saw your soul brighten a little bit about the Super Bowl.
I was farting when I was saying
hey, I'm whatever I can to have you leave this show today with a smile on your face.
So we have 13 days, guys, to get each other prepared, to get each other pumped up. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll figure something out.
Derp. Will that bring a smile to your face?
Phil still says, cheers, Ron, yell into a pillow or go to Derpy's and take out your on freaking smoke. Yeah, that's what I really need.
We'll go on a road trip today and we'll break the smoke alarm. That will make you feel so much better.
Yeah, it would make me feel better.
I'm worried about you.
Yeah. Whatever. Listen,
you're my co-host. You're my business partner. I care about you.
I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. Each and every one of you, we truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do without you. Thank you so much. Everybody on the board, you guys are always awesome. You really are. You always keep things interesting here on the show. And everybody at home as well. Thank you so much. Oh, boy. So there you go, guys. Super Bowl 59 coming up. 13 days. Chiefs, Eagles, blah, 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 6:30 on the 9th of February. If I find anything else in the world to do that day, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be honest with you. Penguins back in action today. They're in San Jose. They do play the Sharks. That game's at 10:30 tonight, Eastern Standard Time. And then the Pitt Panthers again back at it tomorrow night against North Carolina at home. That game is 9 o'clock. But we here on the show, we will continue on. We'll continue forward no matter what.
Yes.
No matter what the world brings, guys. The Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl 59. We'll be back tomorrow to talk more about that. Again, all the Steelers scoop that we get, we will certainly be coming and bringing that to the table as well every day. It doesn't matter what day. It doesn't matter what month. It doesn't matter what year. Any Steelers scoop that we get of any relevance will be certainly shared on this show. So as, the playoffs continue, I guess you could call it. We do have the All-Pro games next week, Mike. If you like tug of war or flag football, you're in luck because this coming weekend you can always tune in to watch your favorite All-Pro play tug of war if that's what you're into. But that is coming up this weekend. Again, 13 days to the Super Bowl. We'll be talking about that, getting ready for that, looking into the numbers, tearing down the numbers, looking at what it is that we may see, what we're going to see, what we're not going to see, and what we just may see. Again, on the February 9th, here on the two Dum Yinzers. Let me just get these last couple messages, Mike. The Darth Vader kid, commercial number 1. That's what Phil said. What Phil says. Yinzer says, I just feel like with every team's play and progression, injuries in the fight each player puts into the game, not every team is mediocre. If you're good, you make the playoffs regardless of ranks. Also, Phil says, well, I don't even know. What does he say? Peaches and
Fanny.
And Fanny. Okay. I didn't know what that 6 was at the end. I didn't know if there was something relevant to that. Peaches and Fanny, if you're watching, go jerk. That's right. Chief Hunglo. That's a classic. That is a classic, Chief Hunglo. We love you too. Jen, of course. Yinzer Joseph's positioning in the playoff is key. You can't have a number 1 team ranked play a number 6 and expect to win. Yeah. So there you go. Again, we have so much time to talk about this garbage Super Bowl, and we will. Unfortunately, we'll be back tomorrow to talk about it first thing. Derpy will be in the house. Also, like I do want to say, Derpy, he won. He won by tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So, Derpy, another win, Mike. You're going to have one more opportunity to maybe close the season out with a win. But Derpy has dominated you in every way in this year's bets. Mike, you have one game to try to redeem yourself. Keep it close. We'll see how we predict and do with the Super Bowl here. Mm-hmm. But think about it, Mike. Derpy wins. He wins by tiebreaker. So Derpy wins again, Mike. So
Derpy needs wins in life. So I'm letting him win the picks. I'm just gonna.
Well, Derpy won all season, dude. Don't you need
wins in
life? Damn it. We thank you so much. Thank you, Yinzer Joe. Greatly appreciate it, my friend. And again, everybody, we'll be back tomorrow, regular time. I think Derp will be here tomorrow. Finch will be in here at
Yes.
the end of the week. I know
Yes.
Finch is getting work done to get his show for Friday night, their show
Yep.
up and back and running and things like that. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. But we will be back tomorrow, guys. We'll talk a little bit about these Penguins, a little bit about Pitt, and this Super Bowl, of course, Super Bowl 59, and of course any Steelers scoop that comes sprinkling in along the way. So for Mike, anything else? Anything I'm forgetting?
No, I got nothing. Nothing. See y'all
right.
tomorrow.
Absolutely. So Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two Dum Yinzers. Everybody have a great Monday, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.